It seems as if it was only yesterday when we first met Steve Rogers in Captain America, the first Avenger. But really, it was a whole decade ago. Currently, Steve's loyal buddies, Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes, are embarking on the post-Endgame world without the OG Captain America in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney+. Still, we thought it was only proper to pay homage to the movie that started it all. Let's give the first Avenger its due fanfare by going through some fun things you might not know. Chris Evans turned down the role. In 2011, Chris Evans made his first big-screen appearance as superhero Steve Rogers / Captain America in Captain America, the First Avenger. It may now seem impossible for Marvel fans to imagine any other actor in the role, but Evans once admitted that it took a lot of convincing to get him to sign on for the part. While appearing on Jimmy Kimmel Live in 2016, Evans revealed that he actually turned down the project a few times before finally saying yes. When asked by Kimmel why he was so reluctant to play such a popular superhero, Evans replied that, "I was scared." In addition to admitting to having some social anxiety with this industry, Evans explained that his main hesitation was in signing what was ostensibly a 9-picture contract. In doing movies one at a time, if all of a sudden you decide you don't want to do it anymore, you're afforded the opportunity to take a step back and recalibrate, Evans said. When you have a giant contract, if all of a sudden you're not responding well, too bad, you've got to suit up again. That was scary. Though he initially declined the role, Evans said the offer just kept coming back to him. And after talking to family and friends about it, he realized what an amazing opportunity he was being offered, and what was holding him back. "I was saying no out of fear, really," Evans said. "You can't do anything out of fear. You can't be doing something because you're scared." It ended up kind of clicking to me in the way that whatever you're scared of, push yourself into it. Evans's Captain America has gone on to become one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's most popular characters, though it's said that Avengers: Endgame was his final film as the Captain. Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, and Keke Palmer are just a few of the actors whose names are swirling as possible replacements for Evans. Wolverine and Magneto almost had cameos. The first Avenger went through plenty of iterations before shooting finally started in 2010, with a 2008 script originally including cameo appearances by X-Men alums Wolverine and Magneto. Given the movie's World War II setting, Logan would appear as a soldier and Eric Lenscher as a prisoner, but as is so often the case, rights issues got in the way. As Captain America was ramping up to start principal photography, Fox was also prepping X-Men: First Class, and presumably in an attempt to protect the brand. This was early MCU after all, they refused to loan the characters out. It's easy to sneer at Fox for making a boneheaded decision in retrospect, especially as Disney now owns Fox anyway, but given how risky a Captain America movie sounded on paper in 2010, you can't blame them too much here. It would have been awesome, though. Most of the shots were done by a Los Angeles company called Lola, that specializes in digital plastic surgery. The technique involved shrinking Chris Evans in all dimensions. They shot each Skinny Steve scene at least 4 times. Once like a normal scene with Evans and his fellow actors and actresses in the scene, once with Evans alone in front of a green screen, so his element could be reduced digitally, again with everyone in the scene but with Evans absent, so that the shrunken Steve could be reinserted into the scene, and finally, with a body double mimicking Evans' actions in case the second technique was required. When Evans had to interact with other characters in the scene, they had to either lower him or raise the other actors and actresses on apple boxes, or elevated walkways to make Skinny Steve shorter in comparison. For close-ups, Evans' fellow actors and actresses had to look at marks on his chin that represented where his eyes would be after the shrinking process, and Evans had to look at marks on the tops of the actor's head to represent their eyes. The second technique involved grafting Evans' head onto the body double. This technique was used mostly when Evans was sitting or lying down, or when a minimum of physical acting was required. Hugo Weaving not returning as Red Skull. One of the biggest surprises of Avengers: Infinity War was the unexpected return of Captain America villain Red Skull as the keeper/guardian of the Soul Stone. However, as soon as the severely sunburnt baddie opened his mouth, it was clear that the character was no longer being played by original actor Hugo Weaving, despite his appearance still being used with the help of some digital wizardry. Instead, it was none other than The Walking Dead star Ross Marquand who stepped up to voice the role. Now, Weaving has revealed that contractual changes are the main reason he didn't return to play the character in Infinity War and Endgame. Also, he wasn't that fussed about doing it anyway. Speaking to Time Out, he said, "I loved playing that character Red Skull, it was a lot of fun. We were all obliged to sign up for 3 pictures. I was thinking, Red Skull probably wouldn't come back in Captain America, but he may well come back as a villain in the Avengers. By then, they'd pushed back on the contracts that we agreed on, and so the money they offered me for the Avengers was much less than I got for the very first one, and this was for 2 films. And the promise when we first signed the contracts was that the money would grow each time. They said, it's just a voice job, it's not a big deal. I actually found negotiating with them through my agent impossible. And I didn't really want to do it that much. But I would have done it." Back in 2018, Avengers directors Joe and Anthony Russo claimed Marvel asked Weaving to return as Red Skull, but the actor had always downplayed a comeback to the MCU. Chris Evans was paid just $300,000. As of January 1, 2021, Chris Evans had a net worth of $80 million and currently commands an average salary of $15 million. Nearly his entire wealth comes from his illustrious acting career. Evans reportedly earned a paltry $300,000 in base salary for his first Captain America movie. However, his salary skyrocketed to $15 million for Avengers, Infinity War, Captain America, Civil War, and Avengers: Endgame. By the time he retired from his role as Captain America, Evans was estimated to have earned between $75 and $100 million in the Marvel film franchise alone. Besides acting, Chris Evans is also a film director and producer. And while we may not know how much he takes home from these endeavors, it certainly adds to his overall net worth. Stan Lee's cameo tradition. Stan Lee's cameo appearance in this film is an exception in the tradition of him appearing in films featuring Marvel Comics superheroes. In this case, Lee had nothing to do with the initial creation of Captain America, but his first story he ever wrote was Captain America Foils the Traitor's Revenge in Captain America Comics No. 3 in 1941, which also had the first appearance of Captain America throwing his shield as a weapon. In addition, he, along with Jack Kirby, was responsible for successfully reviving the character in 1964 in the Avengers No. 4 and re-establishing him as a major figure in the Marvel Universe.